What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for December 21st, 2022. We are now 4 days from Christmas, 3 days from the big game. It is coming, and we'll be there soon enough. But first, a Flyers update. They won 5-3 last night. They beat the Columbus Blue Jackets. Not good, since the Blue Jackets are behind them in the standings, and ultimately you don't necessarily want to be losing to the teams that are behind you when you're tanking, trying to get those higher draft picks. If you want more on tanking, we did an episode a couple weeks ago on Back to the Future with a PH. Be a good time to check that out. While you're there, like and subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts. Tough one for my Temple Owls last night. I don't know what's going on North Broad Street. It's crazy to think that we're like 20 years removed from them being one of like an Elite Eight team and always a tough out. And now it's almost like they're a joke. They lost to Maryland Eastern Shore last night, and they look bad doing it. I don't know whether it's the current state and the NIL deals and the transfer portal and I don't know. But it's crazy to think that we were once here and now we're a shit team. But it's tough times here on North Broad. But correction I made from yesterday, I did say that AI had scored 2 point, or after he scored back-to-back 50-point games in 2004, that it was the last time anybody for the Sixers scored 50 points until Joel Embiid did. That was incorrect. AI actually did it twice the following season in 2005 before Embiid did it. So I strive to give you the facts and be as accurate as possible. So when I make a mistake or I misquote something, I want to make sure I correct it. Good news on the Eagles injury front. Dallas Goedert should be back. And no matter which quarterback plays, that's good. But if it is Gardner, that's huge, considering now he's going to have his full complement of weapons, access to the full offense. And it's good because when you have a backup or a young quarterback, in this case, Gardner's a backup, but he has starting experience. They rely a lot on the tight end, and Goddard's one of the best to do it. So the fact that he has him playing is good. I think it always comes down to the defense anyway. So the fact that he's going to have his full offense, I think we're going to be okay in that regard. Yes, it's a downgraded quarterback, but I still wouldn't rule out that Hurts plays. At this point, they might just say, fuck it, let's win it, and then rest him. I don't know. Maybe Sirianni's playing some gamesmanship. Either way, I think with Gardner in the lineup, the Eagles are live to win. It's not the first time they've gone down around Christmas to Dallas with a lot on the line, with a backup quarterback, and won. We'll get more in on that on Sunday, but spoiler alert, they won, and Jeff Garcia was the quarterback. So I think Jeff Garcia was slightly better, but I think this offensive team is better. But I want to get more into that on Sunday for this day in Philly sports history. But this day, December 21st, 2017, the Temple Owls beat the Florida International Panthers 28-3 in the Gasparilla Bowl, which was the St. Petersburg Bowl, which was the Beef O'Brady's Bowl. Then it was the St. Petersburg Bowl again. Not necessarily a high-profile bowl, but for a team that went 7-6 that year, not bad for the Owls. Quarterback Frank Nutile was the MVP. He went 19 for 29 with 259 yards and 1 touchdown. Also ran one in. This was Geoff Collins' first year kind of taking over. He stayed ultimately 2 years before jumping to Georgia Tech, which leads me to kind of question what these guys are thinking. Like, Geoff Collins didn't do shit at Georgia Tech. Steve Addazio didn't do shit at Boston College. And it's not like they were good here. They were able to make some bowl games and do some good things, but then it's like those big conferences will come calling and the grass is greener. And I mean, let's take a look. You had Al Golden, who didn't really do much at Miami. I mean, yeah, he went into a bad situation, but he didn't do much. You have Adazio, who went to Boston College and never won more than seven. Maybe one year he won 8 games. And it's not like the ACC is the SEC. I mean, you have Clemson, Florida State sometimes, and then there's definitely a drop off. I mean, and Geoff Collins, also ACC school, didn't necessarily do much at Georgia Tech. He's not there anymore. The only one that kind of did anything was Matt Rule, and I like Matt Rule. Don't get me wrong. I think he did a great job. He turned Temple into a national ranked team. They almost beat Notre Dame on Halloween down at the Link, but he only had one good season at Baylor. And again, Matt Rule, I love the guy, but I've never seen anybody parlay less into so much than I have. Yes, he turned Temple around. That he deserves credit for that. He came into Baylor in a tough situation, took them to the Sugar Bowl, but he's never beaten a nationally ranked team. He never. I think I could be wrong on that, but I don't think he's ever beaten a nationally ranked team, and that was the thing that season at Baylor. I'd have to look in that, but I feel like that was part of what the situation was, because he didn't do well against those nationally ranked teams, but he parlayed that in to a spot at the Carolina Panthers where he didn't do shit. And now he's at Nebraska. And again, nothing against the man, but I don't think anybody's ever done more with less, and just kind of except maybe Doc Rivers. There's the correlation. I had to get that in there. But like a couple good seasons, he's turned it. And I think Matt Rule was more sustainable than Doc Rivers was. But that's a whole other story for another time. But all that to say, Coach Drayton, if you're listening, and I hope you are, let these guys be a cautionary tale to you. The grass is not always greener on the other side. Don't think that, oh, I'm going to do well at Temple. Stay, build a legacy, do good things with E.J. Warner, and then just stay. And then they'll build statues of you. I will physically build a statue myself. And in all seriousness, though, like, these guys left, and now what are they doing? I think Golden probably had the most success post-Temple, because then he's, I think, the defensive coordinator at Notre Dame now, but he had a couple spots. I think he was with Cincinnati and a couple different NFL teams as linebackers coach. So I think he made out pretty well. And of all of them, he's the one I met, and he was one of the nicest guys and was super appreciative when I talked to him after the bowl game loss to UCLA. But Stan, let me talk to you. One Temple Owl to another. Stay. Give it time. Trust the process, as we like to say here in Philly. Let it go. I don't know. Just don't, the grass isn't always greener. Just ask. Unless you want to be a coordinator in the NFL, then Golden's not the right one to ask. But just ask Geoff Collins and Steve Adazio how it worked out. Hell, even Manny Diaz, who was here for 2 weeks, how'd that work out for him? Which I hate Manny Diaz, but we'll get into that later. But all that to say, it's tough time on North Broad Street basketball-wise. Hopefully Stan Drayton can continue and stays long enough to continue what he's doing on the football side. I saw some promising things this year from the football team. But this day, back in 2017, the Owls beat the Panthers, Florida International, 28-3 in the Gasparilla Bowl. We got good news on the Eagles front. Hopefully that can continue. I will be taping a Back to the Future probably tomorrow night, sort of like an end of the year Christmas sort of wrap up. I will have a new episode the week after Christmas though. Probably one of my favorite / most frustrating things, events that ever happened. So we'll talk more about that. But everybody's pretty much checked out at work. Don't get caught slacking off. Go have a Wednesday. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.